Okay, this is the final stage of the external wall insulation. It's putting this silicone render onto the wall. Now, I'm a bit worried about this, so I'm going to start off on this section here, which is a pretty hidden section. I think it's a good section to start with because I didn't do it perfectly. You can see some lines in it, some imperfections. So I'm hoping the silicone render is going to be able to cover the imperfections and make it nice and smooth. Well, it certainly looks nice and white. Now, my understanding is you just put this on with a knife, and then after you've put it on, you scrape it back to that 1.5mm thickness, and then you just leave it 10 minutes or so and smooth it off with this plastic float. Okay, so I've got a little bit on the knife. I'm just going to try and put it on here. Seems to work very nicely. Okay, that's been pretty easy to get a full covering. Now you can see it's got lines in it, so I need to scrape it back now and leave it 10 to 15 minutes to harden a little bit, and then I need to go over it with the plastic float. Okay, when I was doing the other bit around there, I forgot to show the levelling off or the scraping back. So once I've put this coat on here, I then need to scrape it back or level it off to being just 1 grain thick, and that's 1.5mm. So I go over it like this, scrape it back pretty hard and get some of the excess off, and that makes it much easier when I'm going over it with the plastic float to make it nice and smooth. Okay, I've levelled that off now. I was a bit worried that I might have levelled it off a bit too much and scraped back to taking off the coating of stones, but I think I'm okay there. I've also cleaned up the corners a bit, so I think I've got the right covering on that now. I just need to wait 10 to 15 minutes and then go over it with this float. And just while I'm waiting, I thought I'd see what it's like cleaning off these. So does it really dissolve in water? Actually, it seems like it does. Oh, that's positive. I imagine if it's dried it wouldn't. Okay, it's been 15 minutes now, so I'm going to try and smooth it off. Okay, that's done, and it certainly wasn't too bad. I think it's really smooth. We'll see what it looks like when it's dried. That should be about 5 hours time, or I'll give it 24 hours until I feel it's fully dried. But after that, I'm feeling quite comfortable about doing the rest of it. Okay, it's about 5 hours later now, and this seems to have gone pretty well. So, looks lovely and even. I have put a little bit of a scar there. I must have just rubbed something over that by mistake at the end. Apart from that, it's looking really flat and really even. So I'm going to try the equivalent one the other side over here there. Okay, I'm getting a bit better at putting this on without losing any. I'm doing it like this now, just pulling it up from the bottom. Lost a little bit there, but that seems to be losing a lot less than before. Okay, that only took a couple of minutes. That's got the coating on it. I'll leave that now for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll go over it with the plastic float, and then that should be done. Great, I've just finished rubbing that up. It only took a few minutes, and I think that looks really nice. And here's just a little learning where these things are sticking out slightly at the side. You just rub off. So that's not a problem at all. When I put it on this face here, it should marry up nicely. That's really good. Well, that was really easy, far easier than I expected. And I've now done side up here, this side down here, the face and the other side. And I don't really have any learnings from that. It was so easy, apart from maybe put something beneath it so that you don't get the render on the ground where it'll stick. But otherwise, maybe the main thing is actually the render underneath doesn't have to be that smooth, and you'll get a perfectly smooth finish on this. So even my DIY render underneath, which wasn't perfect, now actually doesn't matter, and it's got a perfectly smooth flat finish. So this is wonderful. Definitely an easy DIY job.